What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning back in. Yes, you read the title right. Is this heaven? And the fact that we even have to do this video is evidence that people are not listening at all to anything that we're saying or that I'm teaching. So we've legit got people saying that we're teaching that we're in heaven. Where in the world they're getting that, I have no idea. There's two options here. First option is straight slander, because they know that's not what we believe, which that's what a lot of people are doing, and that's fine. So if they want to play that game, that's fine. Number two, I think some people are saying that since we're teaching that Isaiah 65 is about the new covenant, instead of their original paradigm of a recreated and destroyed planet, then they're saying that we're teaching that we're in heaven. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And if that's you or your thought, I would just challenge you, please go back and listen to the lectures and the sermons on Isaiah chapter 65. Address it from the text. Tell us where we're missing it from the text. If you can prove that we are misrepresenting the way that Paul uses Isaiah 65 and the way that Peter uses Isaiah 65 in the New Testament, then that's fine. We can have a discussion, but we should at least have a discussion. Let's sit down and talk about it. If you can disprove it, there's never, anytime there's ever anything said, it never has anything to do with disproving what we've actually taught using the Bible. It's always an attempt to go somewhere else and never address anything that we've said. If you can show me how Isaiah 65, 1 to 16 is not about Israel, how every connection that we've made, which are many, has nothing to do with Old Covenant Israel, then we can have that discussion. But until then, the only context that makes any sense of creating new heavens and new earth, the way that Paul uses Isaiah 65, 1 and 2, and the way that Paul uses Isaiah and the rest of the text, and the way that the New Testament authors use new heavens and new earth in a covenantal form, such as Haggai 2:6, borrowed in Hebrews chapter 12, 25 to 28, and the only place that Peter could be drawing in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, is from Isaiah chapter 65. And if you can prove that that's somewhere else, then you have a logical discussion that you can make. But until then, we're not teaching that we are in heaven now. That's absolute absurdity. And just being fair, like if you legitimately think that we believe that we're teaching that we're in heaven, you need to do some serious study. I mean it in the nicest way. Like you've got a really long way to go with that, because that's not at all what we're teaching. So just in a brief nutshell as to what we're teaching, that is, the Old Testament calls Old Covenant Israel the heavens and the earth. That's speaking and representative of God's covenant with Israel. So would you take something like Hebrews 12 that talks about the shaking of heavens and earth that was about to take place? Well, we don't think he's talking about literal heaven and earth, because he's quoting things like Haggai 2:6, and he's talking about the removal of the old covenant. That's why in Hebrews chapter 12, starting in verse 18, he goes into the comparison of Moses and the institution of the old covenant on Mount Sinai in comparison with the new covenant that'll never be shaken and that'll remain. That's why Hebrews chapter 12, 28 and 29 says, therefore we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken. That's the same thing Jesus said in the Olivet Discourse when he said, heaven and earth will pass away, Matthew 24:35. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words, the new covenant, will not pass away. That's the exact same concept. And until you can disprove that, then I don't know what else you want us to do with that. Because if we just look at the divinely inspired apostles, then we can understand that what a lot of people's concept of new heaven and new earth is not talking about a recreated planet. It's talking about a planet where Adamic death is completely done away with for those who are in Christ. We'll talk about universalism in another day. By the way, if you can read Revelation chapter 21 and 22 and think that universalism is in play in the new heavens and new earth, then you're not reading the text, because you can't read verse 6, 7, 8, 20 and think that talking about bringing people into the kingdom, those who are unsaved outside the kingdom, those who are overcoming, those drinking of living water, you can't read those passages and come up with a universalism. That's also slander, you guys who are doing that. So either way, if somebody wants to seriously address the text, though, then we're going to have a conversation with how the New Testament writers use Isaiah chapter 65 and those other passages. But all of the shots coming in from left field and things like that, they're completely unwarranted. And if you want to do that, that's fine. but I'm more than willing to sit down and have a discussion with anybody. But I haven't received a phone call yet. So anyway, no, I don't believe that we're in heaven, and I'm not teaching that. And anybody that seriously listened to anything that I've taught doesn't think that either. So hope you have a good day. Hope you enjoy it. Continue to study. I would encourage you. Listen. I know it's different. Listen to Isaiah 65 when we walk straight through it. And I pray that you'll be blessed by it. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel down below.